After almost 4 years of bear market, exiting the bear market, the recovery, altcoin market cap is like a centimeter away from breaking all-time high. Meanwhile, we have huge manipulation happening in the crypto markets right now. Ethereum, just as altcoins, one move away. We're going to use a momentum oscillator on Ethereum to identify, is this going to happen sooner than later? I think we're going to get a really nice area to watch in terms of momentum and ADA. If you enjoyed that pump above $1, if you enjoyed ADA above $1 for like 10 minutes, I did too. But we are at that massive resistance that we've been discussing on this YouTube channel. That is this trend line in that dollar range. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. If you're not in our intelligence system, please check us out right now, especially. We've got some time. A risk score of 30 on the altcoin market caps. We haven't seen the move yet. So get in there and try us out. 7-day free trial. We're still offering it. But I want to start with this in terms of kind of the price volatility, what's going on, these rejections that keep happening. So Marty Party over here on X has been tracking the manipulation in the markets very heavily. This is highly manipulated. And he has this other post that I want to read to you. No, crypto did not pull back because of PPI or Russia or global warming. It came down because of this. Price makes narrative and was drawn down exactly to the 50% line from the moves from August 5th to August 13th, eliminating $1 billion of leverage longs. And he kind of actually just exactly showed where these liquidation areas were. And like clockwork, everybody, this is what keeps happening. So as we're diving into like price analysis, I just want you to know this stuff is happening. So be very careful. I posted this a little bit earlier. I said they run up a nice pump right into new inflation data because that's what they do. It's like every week there's a new narrative of some sort, right? And they're using these narratives to just be like, boom, the event took place. Let's move price whichever way we want to do it. And then they liquidate, in this case, all longs that they just pumped. Exchanges are doing this with a new narrative every week. Mass market manipulation in the crypto space. Do not use leverage. That's just, I don't give really recommendations or advice on this YouTube channel, but I will say that's a very strong recommendation that I have. Do not use leverage in the crypto space. Let's start with the total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is altcoins. What I wanted to just show you is a momentum oscillator on the weekly. Look at this RSI. So with this move that we've been getting, right, with altcoins, these higher high moves, we've had this trend line obviously acting as resistance, and maybe it will once again. And maybe the bull market, I'm sorry to say, is still not here, right? But the one way to monitor this is really this trend line here, this lower high trend line. There is a case, absolutely, that altcoins make a break above this trend line, simultaneously breaking above this all-time high from last cycle. This move would be massive because at the same time, we would have, obviously, Ethereum. This is a 4-hour chart to show you the volatility on kind of the short term, what just took place. But we'd have Ethereum on the daily breaking all-time highs. The reason why that's so meaningful, everybody, is because Ethereum over here, if we look at last cycle when it broke all-time high, and this is what I've been talking about in my videos, this was like the catalyst for altcoins, this like January 2021 move. This is when altcoin season began. So if we're looking at that move right there, we're one move away this time from this happening. So before I dissect Ethereum targets and also Cardano targets, I want to go back here to the altcoin market cap chart and just mention something to you. And that is this. We, through these like swing highs that we had on the altcoin chart, altcoin market cap chart, if you remember, I covered this before, like we were in the 30s as far as risk score goes. And so interestingly enough, we go to our risk model. Let me zoom in on kind of where we are in the cycle. Here's a swing high in the 30s and then a swing low, like I think below 20s. Here's a swing high into the 30s and then boom, capitulation, 13. And then look, we got a swing high once again, we're at 30. So there's a case, just using risk model as a little bit of an analysis, to obviously watch very strongly the resistance that we are at right now. But on the flip side of that, we have this area now, the risk model data. We have this RSI lower high data that is kind of like a trigger area. It's a bull confirmation area. if we get the breakout to the upside, that would be very meaningful. And I'm talking about meaningful from a multi-cycle perspective. So this is what I'm watching right now. This could be resistance, but I'm just going to wait. I'm prepared either way for more chop, more sideways, more down. We have this 20-week just crossed above the 50-week. So let's monitor that. Things like watching Ethereum price action, Cardano price action are going to really help with that. So let's jump into Ethereum and Cardano. And before I do, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video. It's itrustcapital, longtime sponsor of the channel. One of the best products in crypto, everybody. Buy and sell crypto. So when we're thinking about even the risk model, the risk score that we have back here, we're thinking about a breakout above all-time high, altcoins going on some type of crazy move. Right now is the time to start thinking kind of on the macro, right? So we're breaking out. Just say altcoins break out. Bitcoin dominance falling. If you want to start taking profits, not just in USD, or you want to switch back to Bitcoin from altcoins, a product like itrustcapital is one of the most powerful things you could possibly do because you're able to make those trades within your IRA, tax-free. I wanted to scroll down and just show you something because I think this is important to a lot of people. itrustcapital never takes custody of your assets. So that's something to be mindful of because that's huge in the crypto space. We don't borrow or lend against client assets or leverage client assets for profit, and we don't let our custody providers do it either. So they have such a solid product, everybody. If you're interested, if you're a macro investor, please click the link below. Get signed up with them. It takes minutes, $14 billion in transactions, over 200,000 accounts, and I am one of them. So let's go over to the Ethereum analysis and kind of discuss what's going on here. So, all right, there's so many ways to break this down. I think one of my favorite ways to do this will be what we've already been tracking for quite some time. And that is, if you remember on this daily chart, when we were kind of getting into this resistance area, right? And we were like, all right, we're right here at this upper trend line. We already saw the lower trend line proved resistance, right? And we were kind of like, all right, are we going to get resistance and really come back down strong, kind of similar to back here? Or were we going to see something like this? If you remember talking about this, right? Like we were kind of like, man, we could be, in terms of being here, we could be somewhere in here. And what we might see is an upside move like that right now, where we're getting some bearish divergence all along the move. So let's actually get an update now that we have broken out to the upside. And what I mean is we've escaped, and this is awesome. Remember, I was talking about going kind of more into the apex. I thought that was going to happen. I thought that market manipulation was going to just step in at this moment. And I'm more than happy to be wrong about that now that because now we've gotten the separation from this trend line, from this 50-day moving average as a 3,400, the 20-day moving average is a 3,900. We have room to fall now. And this is exactly why this breakout is so massive. It's not because we're going straight up, but it's because now there's room for consolidation. But with that being said, that bearish divergence that played out back here, check this out. So you can see Ethereum price, higher highs, higher lows, making a really nice move all along the way, putting in lower highs on the momentum oscillator. Check out what's happening right now. Boom, higher high on price. We just put in a lower high on the momentum oscillator. Let's see how the consolidation plays out on the momentum oscillator. But I think what's really key, what's really important, this gives us targets and areas to watch for. If Ethereum doesn't take a break and just trade sideways, this would be probably ideal. Sideways and then pump, whether it's a pump tomorrow, early next week, just continuation of sorts. And let the 20 and the 50 just pull up closer to Ethereum while it's going sideways. If it doesn't happen, then I'm always just watching. If there's going to be some event where crypto just opens a new candle, just starts falling, I'm just monitoring the 20-day moving average. That's almost $4,000 right now. And the 50-day moving average, it's around 3,300. This range, I don't know how price action will operate for Ethereum to even test that range, but I'm always watching that. And if we go back now to that move, you can just see this is what Ethereum was doing. It was hobbling around at that 50 and the 20. And that's what I'm looking at right now for Ethereum, for that to potentially happen. Again, ideally, Ethereum takes a break here. We have a lot of, we have liquidation events going on in this red candle that's right here. Ideally, I don't know, maybe it takes another little bit of a sideways break, down, up, choppy, and then we're making a move to the upside, as opposed to just straight up crashing down to these moving averages. So, but that's the event. You can see it here on this 4-hour chart illustrated very nicely. And it's just kind of crazy. I don't zoom in on the 4 hours a lot, but you can just see even the momentum oscillator cooled down from overbought. And you can just see here's a very similar area on the 4-hour back here in July. It was cooling down from overbought and Ethereum went higher. So the move for Ethereum to all-time high now, since we are so close, it's right here around like 40, what is that? 4,800, 4,900. It's one move away. Ethereum could do this so fast. And the momentum, even on the shorter term, now that we had all this liquidation and this huge red candle, it is in play. So let's go look at Cardano now at 93 cents. Interestingly enough, we have, as I'm doing this video, 32 minutes left of this candle. I want to start this analysis on ADA by showing a quick clip, literally just from yesterday. Check this, the weekly, but it's the same. It's like the same structure, but it's on the daily. And really the breakout target, if we break this trend line here, and that's around a 13% move, it's just under $1. The target is up in that $1.75 to $2 range. This is so massive, and I'll show you why on the weekly. So we have this catalyst area that I think could propel ADA into its bull market. So we talked about this in yesterday's video. It's like the stepping stones to break out. It's of no surprise, and I don't know how many times over the years that I've said this on this YouTube channel. How many times, if you've been watching my YouTube videos, how many times do we hit resistance so nicely, so cleanly on so many of these charts? Or how many times do we get throwbacks to trend lines? Like the technical analysis aspect of crypto, I really do enjoy it. Like when I'm covering these charts, I don't enjoy that we traded above $1 so momentarily and then fell back down. But this resistance area intermingled with all of the manipulation and all of just the chaos with inflation data coming out and markets not liking it. It's just crazy. And this happens so often. So where does that leave us? Well, two things. Number one, similar to Ethereum, I'm watching, especially now that we have this 20-day just crossed above the 200-day moving average. That's a very important move. Reason being, guess what? That's what happened back here in this massive move. And that was back in, November 2024. So we're potentially at the very beginning of a very large move for Cardano. And we are in a more ideal situation as far as, rate cuts, M2 money supply, and just really general crypto narratives that are going on right now. We have, remember, clarity coming up fast. We're about to go into like Q4. We're getting close to Q4 of this year. And I think there's a lot of bullish narratives in play, not to mention altcoin ETFs. So we're in a really nice area that I would say is even more bullish than back here. This was very speculative based off of a incoming pro-crypto administration. Now we have true macro fundamentals that we've never seen playing out. So this is, as I mentioned in the video, Cardano's catalyst. This is a huge catalyst for Cardano because it's a stepping stone breakout area. Meaning if ADA does break out with some strength and start closing daily candles above $1, and we need some strength, everybody, similar to Ethereum, out of that massive trend line, multi-year trend line right here. We wanted separation so that we could pull back to that area. It's the same exact thing for Cardano, which is we want separation so that that trend line is now support and not resistance. But the whole point is if ADA breaks that area, even if there's going to be volatility along the way, it's the catalyst move to close to $1. I forget what we said it was the target, but around $1.75, $1.80. It's the catalyst move to that area. And that's so big because this is the more macro structured move. The two pieces of structure look so similar, but this is the massive one. And we need to propel up to that area. And the way to do that is to break the out of the smaller structure. So ADA doing that is very much in play. We have to monitor ADA on the short term. It might have to take a break. Maybe it's sideways, ideally, like Ethereum, and then we're breaking up. I don't know. Maybe it just all of a sudden happens sooner or later. Cardano's making a run for it. The move wasn't over. That liquidation event happened, and boom, it's happening tonight. I don't know. But if crypto does dip, keep in mind, we do have the 50 that crossed above the 200. The 20's down here around 79 cents. I'm not saying we're going right to that area, but ADA might want to just cool down sideways back into the mid 80s, let these moving averages pull into it, right? I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, But that's what I'm monitoring in terms of ADA on the short term. I should have started the video by saying this. Both bear markets and bull markets, crypto is volatile, everybody. It's just 100% volatile. So whether we're getting huge moves down or huge moves up, there's going to be just big drops and pumps and drops and pumps. It never really changes. That's the way it is. So we're seeing a very nice technical resistance right here. Let's monitor. That's what I'm doing. It's right around 98 cents or so. And let's see if ADA can make another run for it and start actually breaking out. The momentum that Cardano has is massive. The move, in my view, has not even started. Our risk model is at 43 right now, right? So again, 43 December 2020 on our risk model. It's a pre-bull market area. The question is, are we sideways more? Or are we going to actually have a nice meaningful breakout into the 50s, towards the 60s on this risk model? So that's what I'm watching on all these charts, everybody. I appreciate you cruising through. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, turn notifications on, and check out itrustcapital. I'll put the link below. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.